In the late 19th century, Africa was under siege. European powers were taking control, country by country, stripping the land of its freedom. But one nation stood its ground: Ethiopia. On March 1st, 1896, Ethiopia delivered a stunning defeat to Italy in the Battle of Adwa. This victory was more than a military triumph. It was a symbol of resistance that inspired generations of anti-colonial movements. For centuries, European nations had their eyes on Africa, first for the transatlantic slave trade, later to colonize the entire continent. By 1885, the scramble for Africa was in full force, with most of the continent under European rule. But Ethiopia and Liberia stood alone, still independent. Italy, eager to establish itself as a global power, set its sights on Ethiopia. In 1885, they occupied the Red Sea port of Massawa and expanded into Eritrea and Somalia. Menelik II, a brilliant strategist, and his wife, Tetu Batul, saw through Italy's deception. They secured modern weapons, formed alliances, and launched a campaign to rally support. The Ethiopian people, united like never before, answered the call to defend their homeland. In September 1895, Menelik called for mass mobilization. Tens of thousands of soldiers from every region of Ethiopia joined him, ready to fight for their freedom. With them was Empress Taitu, leading her own army. On March 1st, 1896, the battle began. The Italians, poorly prepared and outnumbered, faced a well-armed Ethiopian force. Menelik outmaneuvered them at every turn. By day's end, Italy's army was in full retreat. Ethiopia had captured 3,000 prisoners and secured its independence. It was a victory that sent shockwaves across the world. The victory became a beacon of hope for future African independence movements. It challenged the belief that Africa was destined to be ruled by Europe. The Italian government collapsed, and Ethiopia's independence was officially recognized. But the impact of Adwa stretched beyond one nation. The Battle of Adwa proved that Africa was not powerless. It was a turning point in history, a moment that shattered colonial illusions and inspired a continent. The spirit of Adwa still burns bright, reminding the world that freedom is always worth fighting for. Even today, Adwa's legacy lives on in pop culture. The fictional Wakanda in Black Panther reflects Ethiopia's defiance, an African nation that was never colonized.